is Carlos Allen, who attended the White House State Dinner last November, and also with him his attorney, A. Scott Holden. Gentlemen, thank you both for being with us this morning. Here we are again. We happen to be seated at the same table at the State Dinner. The question, did you receive an invitation? Were you invited to the State Dinner, Carlos?
Yes, I was invited. I got an actual invite in the mail.
Do you have proof of that?
I have the actual invite.
You have the actual invitation?
Well, the actual invite that I received, Secret Service took from me.
And this is a copy of the invitation?
Correct.
Which I have to say, Carlos, it doesn't have your name on it. There is an envelope with the person's name that the invitation goes in. Why didn't you take a picture of that to prove with your name on it? Do you have that?
Well, that's the only thing that I received in the actual mail. So that's what I used as the actual information that I took to the actual White House to get in there for being an invitee at the actual White House.
You didn't receive anything with your name just in the mail like that?
I got that in there, yes.
Well, our sources say, from our sources, the Secret Service is saying we can find no record of an official invitation from the White House. Secret Service can find no record that background check was ever conducted on Allen, but a check was made on everyone else officially invited. So how do you explain that?
I can't explain what the Secret Service procedures are at all periods. The only thing I can say is that I received an actual invite in the mail, and I went to the White House to actually be an actual guest at the actual State Dinner. And I used that invitation to get in. No one said anything about it. They actually checked me.
Who checked you, and where did they check you?
They checked me at the actual Willard Hotel.
And why did you go to the Willard Hotel? You're from Washington. You're a businessman. The Indian delegation was there at the Willard Hotel. Why didn't you go directly to the White House? Why would you?
I did. I went straight to the... Initially, when I got to the actual White House, I dropped off my car at the hotel across the street from the actual W, the Willard Hotel. I walked over to the actual White House, to the first gate. The first gate said they weren't letting anybody in. You have to go to the second gate. I went to the second gate. The second gate said, oh, we apologize, but you have to go down to the first gate. And so I went back down to the first gate. Once I went back down to the first gate, they said, oh, yeah, we apologize, but we're not letting anybody in right now.
What time was this? Where were
it was probably about 5:45 or something like that, around 5:45. From there, it was cold. It was raining, as I recall, and I had a cold. And I was not one to be outside as far as the cold was concerned. So I walked over to the W Hotel. I walked over to the W Hotel to get out of the actual cold. I went upstairs.
How did you end up at the Willard? How did you end up on a bus with the Indian delegation?
Okay, I'm getting to that. But first of all, I wanted to actually make sure that everybody understands how I got there. I went to the W Hotel to actually see if I saw anyone that I knew, because I hang out at the W Hotel. I went upstairs. There was no one there hardly at the W Hotel that I knew, and it was dark and there was nothing going on. So I decided to leave there and go to the actual Wood Hotel. All by coincidence, I walked over to the Wood Hotel, and when I walked into the Wood Hotel, I believe I walked to the bar area to see if anybody I knew was at the bar. I know a lot of people in D.C. I know a lot of people in D.C. So from there, I didn't see anyone at the bar. I decided to go, and I started seeing a lot of people in the hallway. As I was looking around, everybody was looking good. I was looking good because I was going to the State Dinner.
Did you have to show ID at any point? Was there any point where you showed ID?
Let me get to that, please. I went to the actual bathroom, and once I went to the bathroom, I came back out of the bathroom, and then there's a bunch of folks in the hallway at the Willard Hotel, and they said, oh, it's time to go to the White House. Okay, well, I'm going to the White House too because I have an invite to go to the White House. So at that point, I went up, got in line with everybody else, all right? Once I got in line with everybody else, I basically had my invite. I went up to the actual Secret Service individual. I opened my jacket. I had my invite in my pocket, and he basically wanted me, didn't ask me for anything else. He wanted me, check me, make sure that I had nothing wrong, nothing that's going to actually affect anyone, and I didn't have that. And I basically walked with anyone else, and I got in the actual van.
Why did you initially deny being there at the State Dinner? Why did you initially say no?
And I'll explain that to you. When the Salahi stuff all broke out, at that time, again, I thought that I was an invited guest to the actual White House, okay? And when the Salahi stuff broke out, it was a frenzy. It was like their faces were everywhere. And I I had posted everything on my website, which is HushSocietyMagazine.com, which I'm the actual CEO of, and the Hush stands for Help Us Support Humanity. And our focus is basically do good things as far as talk about the good things that people do. Well, when I posted that information on the actual website, I got an email from someone saying, hey, you're not an invited guest. You're in trouble. So when I received this email, I was like, well, what are you talking about? So I don't want to be no part of what was going on with this frenzy. So I'm like, okay, let me take this stuff down. Because I don't know what the heck was going on. Excuse my French, but I didn't know what was going on. So I took everything down. And I left it at that.
But when we see video of you, Carlos, walking in with the delegation through the very door where the president greeted the delegation, you were kind of looking around a little bit. I mean, you were dressed the part, and when you were seated at the table, there's no reason to believe that you were not an invited guest. But when you see the video, when you hear that you had denied being there in the first place.
Sorry, let me explain this. I never denied to the Secret Service that I was not there.
You have never said to the Secret Service?
I never said to the Secret Service I was not there. I basically, when individuals who were calling me and saying, hey, were you at the White House? I didn't know these people. They were calling me and asking me questions. And also on top of this, I did not want it to embarrass anyone. I especially did not want to embarrass my president. I did not want to embarrass my administration. I did not want to embarrass my country if there was some issue that the actual Secret Service or the White House made a mistake with.
It would help your case if you had something that had your name, such as this. This is the place card. We were seated at the same table.
Okay.
We were all taking our place card because it has a presidential seal.
Exactly.
Saying our name. Did you take yours? Did you ever see a place?
I did not have that.
You did not have it. So you didn't have your name there. How did you know to sit there at the table?
Well, when I got it, let's retract in reference to how once I got to the actual White House. Once I got to the White House, I got out the van. Now, everybody's speculating that I turned around to figure out, oh my gosh, I'm scared. I was not scared. I was excited. And
it didn't look that way. It didn't look that way in the videotape.
Well, what it looked like was I was turning around and saying,
look, that does not look like someone who's excited to be where they are.
What about the young man right there who's going to stop and turn around? Is he scared too? Was he an uninvited guest? I turned around and looked around and I said, hey, it's time to go party. That's what I turned around and said. To the other individuals, they were still in the van. So when I got out the van, I probably turned around and said, what are y'all waiting for? It's time to go party.
Mr. Bolden, you know that a grand jury has been convened to look into the Salahis. I know you want to separate yourself from that.
Let me
ask your attorney. I want to ask your attorney about this, about a grand jury, because they're looking into if they made fraudulent claims to the Secret Service. Have you received any contact from them? Are they looking at your client in that regard, too?
Robin, we've received no information from the Secret Service for the past week or so. My client has talked to the Secret Service on 2 or 3 occasions without an attorney, quite frankly. And whether you believe that he had an invitation or place card or not, at some point in time that night, Carlos Allen became an invitee of the White House. And the reason I say that is because he participated in the reception, he was invited to participate in the dinner, he stayed for the concert, and then he left the White House on his own accord. You asked earlier about how he got his seat. He asked the White House staffer, operative word, where do I sit? Where is my seat? And a White House staffer presented him to that seat that happened to be at your table. He sat down. He ate. He took pictures. He interviewed some very significant people, and then he enjoyed himself at the White House dinner. Doesn't sound like Carlos Allen is a criminal trespasser. Sounds like he's an invitee. And that's our position. And the Secret Service, he's a cooperating witness with the Secret Service, and we'll see how this plays out. There's no grand jury that has been impaneled to investigate Carlos Allen.
One final question to you. Thank you, Mr. Bolden. Final question to you. When you, and if you are questioned by the Secret Service, if you are under oath, this is the story you're going to tell. Under oath.
You know what? I've already been questioned by the Secret Service twice.
But under oath, this is something that...
Under oath, when I speak to a Secret Service individual, I'm under oath. I mean, if you talk to a federal agent, you're under oath there all the time. So I've given them my story, 2 times in a row. I walked into the Secret Service office without an actual attorney because I had nothing to hide, period. And when I provided all this information to them, they basically told me that I was lying, that I didn't go to the actual White House. They told me that I did not go to the White
Well,
House.
there's proof. They know that you
No,
did.
no, no,
but
they did not
But
know.
what is in dispute, I mean, the invitation that you showed, without anything with your name on, does leave room for speculation.
Well, that's speculation, and whatever you want to think, that's what you want to think. But as far as I know for a fact, I had an actual invite that I used
Without
to
the
get
envelope with your name.
into the White House, and I was allowed into the White House with that.
Thank you for your willingness
Thank you
to
very
come here,
much,
Carlos.
Thank you for your time.
Mr. Bolden, thank you very much. And of course, we'll be following this.